Hi, welcome to TTKSS. In this current session, we are going to discuss about how to create the event hub and how to produce the data and how to consume the data. This is a continuation session for the event hub concept. I will recommend please watch the part 1 before proceeding to watch this session for better understanding on the event hubs. So in order to create the event hubs in Azure portal, you can search at the search bar event hubs and click on that, and here either you can create the event hub namespace using this button or click on this create button. Once you click on the create button, so it will ask you to create the namespace. Under the namespace you need to create the event hubs. So first we have to create a resource group. So I'm creating a new resource group, so which helps to clean up later, and I will call this as a D2KSS event hub namespace. And pricing tier, we already talk about this pricing tier in the part 1. So what is the features available in the different pricing tiers like basic, standard and premium. So for this demo I'm going to choose the standard, and we also talk about these throughputs. Throughputs is the pre-purchased units for ingress and egress message limit. So I'll just leave it 1. If you want a better performance, you can able to choose throughputs is 40. The maximum size is 40 based on the price tier you have been selected. If you choose this premium, you have 60. So in this demo I'm going to choose this premium and choose this throughput is 1. Enable auto inflate. So what is this option is? Auto inflate automatically scales the number of throughput unit assigned to your standard tier event hubs namespace when your traffic exceeds the capacity of throughput units assigned to it. So when you enable this, it will auto scale your throughputs to until to 40 based on your load traffic. So I'm not going to choose this since we are in this demo we will not get that high level traffic. So that's the reason I'm not choosing this enable auto inflate option. Click on next button and choose this minimum TLS 1.2 and networking public access, review and create. So once validating is completed, you click on the create button. So the deployment is in progress. So we'll wait for the deployment to be completed. So the deployment is completed. So click on the go to resource button. So here you can able to see all these are all the standard options which is available on all PaaS services. Now we will be interested to see this entities section event hubs. So under the namespace you can able to create the event hub. So I will call this as a D2KSS event hub 1, and I will use the partitions is 5 partitions, meaning in these 5 partitions you can send the data in parallel. So click on create button. So the event hub is created, and you can able to create multiple event hubs. D2KSS event hub 2, and I will take this as a 10 partitions and click on the create button. So here we have to see here there is a 2 event hubs we have created under this D2K events hub namespace. If you want to access both event hubs, then you can use this shared access policies shared key. So this is the master key which has the claims manage, send and listen. And click on the add button. You can able to create your own SAS token for specific purpose. For example, you want to create a token for the publisher purpose. So I will call this as a publisher and click on the create button. So this particular token, SAS token, will helps to send the data. You cannot use to this particular token will not help to listen. And you can create one more token called consumer and take it this as a listener. So meaning that publisher will help to this particular token key will help to send the data to Event Hub, and this particular consumer token key will help to listen the data. So you can use this token for the consumers, this token for the publisher. This is for the master key. So I will recommend not to use this master key in your application. So if you want to access both, or you want to listen, or you want to send the data to both event hubs, you can use this namespace. Either if you want to get access only this specific event hub, so you want to give access to this specific event hub one only, means you can able to create the access token, SAS token under that specific event hub. So click on add and click on send event hub one publisher and click send create button. So now the key has been created. Under that particular key there is a two connection string will be there. This is primary, this is the secondary. You can copy that connection string and you can use in your application to send the data to this particular event hub. So here two things we are doing here is, first thing is, if you want to give access to the namespace level, you can use this SAS token at the namespace level. If you want to give access only to specific event hub, you can use the event hub under that specific event hub. Perfect. So now what we have done is we have created a namespace. Under the namespace we have created a event hubs. So now I want to send the data to this particular event hub 1. So to produce the data and send the data, I'm going to create a console application. And create a new project and use this console R and next button. So now this call as a Azure Event Hub producer. So solution is Azure Event Hub demo. So this I will call solution name is Azure Event Hub demo and the project name is Azure Event Hub producers. So click on the next button and choose .NET 6.0 and click on the create button. So perfect. Now the .NET console application has been created. Here first thing is I want to add a new NuGet packages. Install the package Azure .messaging .event hubs. So we want to use this event hub related packages. We want to install this package. Perfect. It was installed already. So now we go back to here we have to perform the steps is we want to create the Event Hub producer client object. Producer client object. Then we have to create a event batch object. Then we have to add the binary bytes to that event batch. Then the last step is you want to send the bytes to Event Hub. So first option is we have to create the event producer client. Using this client object only, we have to add the bytes and we have to send to the Event Hub. So we have to create Event Hub producer client equal to producer client new event producer client. So this particular, so add the missing namespace. So move this namespace to top. Okay, this particular initiation, what is the parameters is expecting is there is a constructors, multiple overload constructors is there. You can able to see that first constructor is it is expecting the connection string of that Event Hub, and we will use this particular Event Hub constructor which is expecting the input parameters is connection string and the Event Hub name. So here two strings I need to pass. One is Event Hub connection string and this one is Event Hub name. So this is the two parameters we need to pass. So where we can get these two parameters values? So go back to the Azure portal. So as I mentioned that I'm using this namespace level access SAS keys. So click on that publisher key which we have created just now and copy that connection string, the primary connection string, and go back to here. So this is the connection string to drop the messages at the Event Hub. So we want to specify which Event Hub we want to drop these bytes of memory. So I want to drop into this Event Hubs 1. So I'll replace this parameter value with Events Hub 1. Perfect. So now the producer client has been initiated. So based on this client, we have to create the event data batch. So event data batch equal to event data batch. So producer client dot create batch async. For all asynchronous methods, you need to use the await keyword. So reference is missing. Add that missing reference. Perfect. So now we have created an object of event batch. So here what I want to do is I want to add the bytes of data to this event batch. So for that I'm creating a for loop for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 3. So I want to repeat 3 times and I plus plus. Then we want to check that this particular event byte data what we are adding here is being within the limit range or not. So for that we are creating a if function. If event data batch try add. So what this try add method will do is attempts to add an event to the batch, ensuring that the size of event does not exceed to its maximum. So this particular try add method will help to add the event to the batch, whatever the batch we have created, and ensuring that the size of the batch does not exceed or does not reach the maximum limit. So if it is not reached, then we'll try to add the event data. Event data. In that particular event data, we are passing bytes. So encoding dot utf 8 dot get bytes. So we want to transfer the bytes. So dollar event of I. Perfect. So we want to fix those errors which is missing that reference. Perfect. So here we want to add a exception. Throw new exception, and I will use a message text is so this is the message text, and read console dot read line. Perfect. So once we added to this particular events to the batch, we want to send that batch to the event hub. So await producer client dot send async of event batch. So we can write that any text that console dot write line batch data has sent and console dot read line. Perfect. So once we send this data, we want to dispose that particular producer client. Dispose async. Finished. So now we want to rebuild this solution, ensuring that there is no errors. Success, and click on that run button. So now what we have to see here in the console window is this particular message, the batch data has sent, we have to see here. Once the data has been published, we have to see here. So the batch data has sent. Now to confirm that this particular data has been sent, reached to this event hub or not, you go to this namespace and click on the overview, and here you can able to see that data has been reached at that point of time. And also you can able to go to event hubs and so now we have to create the consumer group consumer. So right click on the solution and add a new project and select the console template and name it as event hubs consumer and click on next button. Click on and create the button. So the solution is created. In order to speed up the process, I'm going to copy the code and I will explain you the purpose of code which we are copying here. So first we need to install these two packages. Install the package into consumer Azure Messaging Event Hubs in order to read the data from the Event Hubs, and Event Hub Processor, Azure Messaging Event Hub Processor, and one more package is, since we are using the Azure Storage Blobs, we have to use this package is Azure Storage Blob. So once we install those packages, return to the code. So first we have to create the blob container. So I will explain in a while. So why we need the blob container in order to read the processor or in order to read the event from the event hub. So this particular blob container client expecting two parameters. One is connection string and the blob container name. So where you can get these details is switch back to this Azure portal and open a solution storage account and open this D2K SS storage account, and under that you can get the access keys. So in order to access the storage key, container or files or queues, you need to access through the access keys. So there is two keys is there, one is primary, one is secondary. So click on that primary key and copy it and paste it at the first string. Oops. So copy it and go back to the solution. So it was not copying. Copied now. So copy this. Then what is the name of the container which we created under the storage account is containers, and the name of the container is D2KSS blob. So I will use the name is D2KSS blob. Perfect. So once we create the blob container, we have to create the event processor client. So what parameters this is expecting is blob container client, consumer group, connection string, event hub name. So why we need this blob container client? This particular blob container client is responsible for persisting checkpoints and processor state to durable storage. Meaning that, as we discussed earlier, that for example consumer has read out of 100 events, they have read 10 events. When they start reading again, the consumer start reading again, they have to read from the 11th event and they have to process the events. So for that purpose we need this blob container client, and we need the consumer group. So we already discussed what is the consumer group. So I'll just copy this storage client, and this consumer group will help to logically map all these consumer into one group. And one more parameters are expected here is connection string. So the connection string is not the blob storage connection string. So we have to use this event hub connection string and event hub name. So how we can get this event hub connection string is, we go back to this event hub and click on the stay access policies and click on the consumer. In our previous example, we have used this publisher. Now we have to use this consumer. Click on the consumer. So this consumer, we have given him access only for listening. So copy this primary key and copy it at this code. And what is the event hub name is, we are going to use is D2KSS event hub 1. Perfect. So we are registering the handler for processing the event and handling the errors. If there is any errors while processing, we are registering the handlers. So this particular project event handler method, we have written a logic to print whatever the data we are getting from the event hub. We are printing on the console application, and we are updating the checkpoint. So what is the checkpoint is offset. So until what level we have read, we are updating the checkpoint so that the consumer program, when it is reading, it will read from that point. It will not duplicate reading by the already read events. And in the event handler errors, we are writing what error and which partition it was occurred. We are writing here, and finally we are returning that task has completed. So basically, once we start processing the events, we are telling that wait for 30 seconds to be events to be processed. Each event, the duration will be 30 seconds. So it will wait the 30 seconds for the event to be processed and stop the processing. Once it is completed, it will stop the processing. So that's all. So we will run this particular application, the event hub consumer application, and whether we'll see that this particular consumer group able to read whatever we have posted in previous demo. So it is taking a while to read the events. So it started reading. So event 1, event 2, event